What's up, boys and ghouls? Welcome back to another episode of Cinematic Nightmares. As always, I am your host, Mika G. And in this episode, we are diving into a film that blends cosmic horror, creature feature energy, Western atmosphere, and a whole lot of commentary about spectacle, legacy, and stories to tell. Of course, we are talking about Jordan Peele's Nope. Movie that sparked a lot of conversation, which is exactly why I wanted today's guest to join me. I'm here with filmmaker Rishi Gandhi, who this is his second time being on Cinematic Nightmares, so yay! But his work is incredible. I mean, it's visually is layered. He gravitates towards atmosphere, symbolism, emotional storytelling, and Nope is one of those films that gives us plenty to unpack. So, welcome for the second time to Cinematic Nightmares, Rishi Gandhi. Hi.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I am really, really excited to be here.
Good.
And I'm excited to dive into Nope.
All right. So, before we get into the spoilers, I'll set the stage for you. Nope follows OJ and Emerald Haywood, siblings inheriting their family's horse ranch, and the ranch is tied to Hollywood history. Strange things begin to happen in the sky, and their mission becomes capturing something no one has ever seen. As I stated before, it's mysterious, it's layered, and it sets up a lot of interpretation. So, Rishi, what pulled you into this movie on your first watch, and like what made you connect with it?
I mean, I feel just to kind of like pull back, like kind of like on macro when we're talking about Jordan Peele, like Get Out from the get-go, it's really obvious what that movie's about, right? Like
Mhm.
I feel out of the three, that's the one people still talk about the most till today.
Mhm.
I thought Us wasn't as well received, but on a certain level, I felt Us was like, because it maybe wasn't as like obvious, like it's one of those things where I don't know, it peels back every time you rewatch it. And I kind of feel like Nope is the same, but I also think Nope does it in like an incredibly layered and beautiful way, and it's still scary. Like it opens up with that chimpanzee scene in the beginning,
Yeah.
on
Yes.
the show. And that feels real because, maybe like a lot of younger people don't really understand the context because they're used to everything being streamed, right? But like the idea of like live television shows and people having live animals on those shows, like chimpanzees, right?
Mhm.
And that sort of wreckage happening. Like it's not immediately apparent what that's going to be about. So like you're let in with this mystery. Then you're shown a family of uh like, black like horse rearing people that train horses for Hollywood films. And the thing is, like, that stuff's actually based in real history when you go back and read about it. And the thing is, like, there's a lot in this movie that made me go read stuff, that made me go look up stuff to understand. And it just opened up a lot of layers. It made my own understanding about the industry I work in.
Mhm.
It made me understand things on a deeper level. It made me feel more connected to this industry that I work in and that I struggle in, like a lot of other people, right?
Right.
Um, and I don't know, like I'm almost like, why? I'm still to this day, I'm almost like, why the alien? Why is the alien the way it is? But there was this, I have this appreciation of how it's not only about Black people, it's also about Asian people,
Mhm.
and it's about like kind of like connecting those struggles, but also showing like how you have these two characters that deal with the same thing differently. Like they're both dressed like cowboys, but only one of them is really a cowboy,
Right.
right? And then the other one's like a becomes a producer. He dives deep into the capitalism of the people that run the industry, trying to get accepted into it and trying to tame this beast that is untamable. And we have other examples of these beasts, whether it's the chimpanzee that goes, ape shit and kills everybody, or we got like horses are not exactly the safest animals on the planet. A horse kicks you, that's a wrap.
Period.
If a horse kicks a horse, that's a wrap,
Right.
right? So like we have three different layers of like uncontrollable animals, and on a certain level, it's like there's kind of like the hunger of capitalism. This dude trying to get accepted by like white capitalism, right?
Right.
And then this dude trying to keep his family's business alive that is getting eaten up by white capitalism.
Yeah.
Um, and then for me, there's a personal extra layer to this. Um, there's a Fry's electronics store in the film that has a UFO in it. Fry's Electronics no longer exists. I never actually got to experience the inside of a Fry's. But when I moved to LA in 2023, um, there was an event at RE Burbank, which is like a camera, like it's a camera company, right? And
Yeah.
there was a massive event for people like myself, who, in my day job, I'm a film colorist. When I'm not directing, that is what I mostly do. Is I work in color, and right next to that RE was where that exact Fry's was, but it was all fenced off, closed off. You couldn't go there. Fry's was shut down, and that same Fry's got torn down like a couple of months later. And like for me, it's like it ties back to that kind of like inherent thing of like this capitalist monster that we're all dealing with, right? So like it took on an extra layer that's maybe not in the movie, but I feel it because like we're all fighting against it right now. We're all struggling financially, right? Like in the real world, things are kind of financially scary right now for everybody,
Right.
right? And we're all struggling against the government sending ice after people. Like we're all hurting for money. Jobs are being cut everywhere. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Like Nope for me is like got so many deep interlocking themes, and it's got these really beautiful deep characters. You have the daughter that's trying to I forget, was that she's OJ, right?
Emerald.
No, she's yeah, she's Emerald. So she she wants to hustle, she wants to be a part of it, but like her brother's kind of just like, listen, I just want to like keep my head down, do the thing that I know how I do it. Like I don't want to like step out and do like more than that,
Right.
because like he is scared of things going out of control because he saw his dad die,
Yeah.
and he's the one expected to keep the farm going. And so I don't know, man, there's like so many beautiful interlocking things between people. And then we even have like the Fry's electronics store worker, who I guess is like, I don't know if he's South Asian or like Hispanic. um and he has his own sense of curiosity about things, but like I've not quite figured out how to quantify his relationship with everybody else yet. I maybe that this might warrant a third viewing.
Yeah.
um but I don't know, there's so many kind of connections and things that feel real to me about Nope in a way, that I don't know, I feel each successive Jordan Peele film has built up in beautiful unexpected ways. Like I'm still digesting Us, like
Yeah.
and I know we're not discussing that, but it's just to kind of go back to this thing of like, Nope for me goes beyond just like a creature feature. It is doing a lot of incredible things, and it somehow always ties back into real life somehow for me, and I feel it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's a good summary.
Oh no, that was amazing. That was great. I mean, it seems like you found a personal connection along with, you know, um an outside connection to it as far as your work and as far as your personal life as well too. So for me, the only reason why I connected with this movie is because my kid loves this movie. And so, I remember the first time I watched it, I went and saw it in the movie theaters. I didn't quite understand. I was just like, "I don't get it." Like, because I'm thinking it's a creature feature, right? But it's more like you said, it's more than that. So, of course, now that I've had multiple screenings of this of this movie, I've watched this movie multiple times. I can see where you're coming from. I can see like, the capitalism in it because like you said, you have the owner of Jupiter's Jupe who is only in it because he wants to be accepted,
Yeah,
right? And then you have Emerald who was like, I'm trying to make it into the business. And then you have OJ who is like, I'm just trying to keep everything afloat
I mean, and
because
he's scared, man. Like, and I feel I got both of those characters in me.
right.
Like I feel all of us, especially like if we were immigrants, if we were people of color, you know, in this country, like we have that in us. We have the parts of us that want to like, look, keep your head down, do the thing you're supposed to do, stay out of trouble. Then they got the part of you of like, hell no, like I want to thrive.
Right.
I
Right.
want amazing things to happen. And then we have the people in our lives like, you know, like Jupe, I forgot the cinematographer's name that shows up, like who wants to capture like the creature,
Mhm.
right? But like that dude's desire to like get his craft to that point is kind of like the types of artists that a lot of people of color don't get to be. We are simply not allowed to be that. And at least that's what I was taking away from that character, because he was so obsessed with like getting a perfect shot doing this. And all I'm thinking about is like a lot of us are just trying to like get to the next day to pay our bills. He doesn't have to struggle for that. He can literally afford film. Most people cannot afford actual film to shoot
Right.
things on, right? Like
Right.
film is now it used to be a thing that was available everywhere. Now it is unattainable for most people. So this guy, this cinematographer, gets to be a thing that most people of color will never get to be, you know.
Right.
And my kind of idea of that is like to connect it back to real life. Like Spike Lee what was it, the Five Bloods?
Mhm.
Yeah, the Five Bloods. He went to Netflix, wanted to like, he had to fight to get 16 millimeter film just for a small shot. Like he had to fight
Wow.
Netflix for that, but another different director got to shoot his whole film on film, right?
Right.
And
Right.
like for cost reasons, I would never be able to shoot on film. For me personally, it's not a huge loss because I know how imaging works. I feel I can get beautiful stuff out of a digital sensor. I do not feel limited in any way, but there is still this prestige thing to film culturally that we all experience and we all feel. And for some people, they feel it is technically superior, and that is a valid thing. But again, for me, it ties back to this man who gets to be something that OJ does not get to be.
Right.
OJ's just a horse guy, and he can be gotten rid of. They can CGI the horse, all this other stuff, right?
This is true. So
And
before we go any
yeah,
further, I just wanna say this is your spoiler warning this is your spoiler alert. We are going to dissect this whole movie. I know we already started a little bit, but we haven't given away too much. So, but from here on out, it will be complete spoilers. If you have not seen Nope, stop this video, go watch Nope, come back because we're going to our deep dive part of it. So, let's talk about the creature.
yeah, I still am not like, I'm still trying to like conceive of like, it felt like it was like made of billowing cloth. It felt like it was a flying saucer at one point. You know, like it's
Yes.
this transformative thing, the way it swallows people up, like you would think it's non-threatening, but it kills people in really bloody ways.
Right.
And
I
it's
think the
frightening.
inside shot of the creature, like when we first the movie first start, we start inside of the creature.
Yeah.
And and hearing like people dying from the inside,
Yeah.
especially like when it ate everybody at Jupiter's Claim.
Yeah.
And we hear the little boys calling for their mommy. And it like that in itself is terrifying. Like to be eaten alive. And then, but just seeing the way like at the end, like first time I saw it, I was like, why is he using a fitted sheet to to create this creature? But then, I mean I joke, but you're right. It manifested from like almost looking like a cowboy hat from the bottom to this beautiful like butterfly almost type creature that, this little square in the middle that kind of I guess is supposed to draw you in. And it just watching the creature evolve throughout the whole movie because it went from being just a shadow or a cloud
Yeah.
to us it being revealed. And it's like, oh, that's not so bad until you saw it like starting to, suck things up and you're like, wait a minute. Uh, mm-mm,
Yeah. I
run.
mean, it's the closest thing I can sort of conceive, like in terms of parallel of other dangerous animals in the film, is that, you know, a cute dressed up chimpanzee can seem harmless.
Yes.
A horse is beautiful to behold. A horse, like people are in awe of horses, right?
Right.
And then you see this thing, oh, it's like a giant cloth. What possible horrors?
Right. What could go wrong?
Yeah. But the thing is, this is also truly alien, truly inconceivable for us. So for me, I'm still like, I still feel I'm dissecting, like, why is it cloth? Why is it this? And um, I don't know. It's memorable. Like I feel like I'm kind of happy that it's not a typical creature feature because it opens itself up in so many ways, especially because I feel that final confrontation with it, especially that final shot we see of OJ on the horse.
Mhm.
It's like you're like, oh shit, no, he is the Hollywood cowboy.
Right.
Like he lives up to that thing. Like it takes the whole movie to get there, but he truly does live up to it. And even his sister does a bunch of badass shit along the way too.
Of course.
And and I don't know, it's in a way this film is, it's, yes, it's a horror film, it's a creature feature, but it's also, in my opinion, a superior Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I will die on that hill.
I don't blame
Tarantino,
you.
Tarantino can talk mad shit, but Jordan Peele made a better Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and a far more original one, because how many times Tarantino got to do an alternate history ending to a movie,
Right.
and
Right.
Jordan Peele lands something that we like. You didn't even really know if you liked the movie, and you're still engaging with it because you're a kid, but like, I'm still finding new stuff about the film, and I'm sure you're going to keep finding new stuff about the film. And I don't know. For me, that's why this stands out as a horror film, because whether you like it or not, on some level, you're going to be thinking about it for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. It's Nope is a very chewy film. It has me going looking up stuff. It has me going to read things. It has me wondering why did this happen? Um, and in a lot of ways, it is a truly frightening film. And in a lot of ways, there's things that like confound you, and you have to kind of stop and think about it.
Right.
Um, and in a lot of ways, it is a typical creature feature. Uh, and I don't know. I think this is like one of those reasons why I feel um, black filmmakers, especially filmmakers of color in general, but like black filmmakers like Jordan Peele should like there's like they should be the norm more than they're not, right?
Right.
Like because like this perspective is so cool, it's so unique. Um, I don't know, and that's why I still think about this movie all the time. Like I'm literally always thinking about it.
Nice. So you mentioned the Gordy's home sequence. It's it opens the movie, but then later on we get more context of
Yeah,
what actually happened during that sequence. For me, that sequence, first watch, it was like really unsettling. Because like you said, these kids these days do not understand that when we were growing up, animals were on set. Like, they were they were, live animals, and they were unpredictable, they were uncontrollable, and, people were also having these chimpanzees as pets, and the whole Gordy's Homes, sequence was actually based on that lady getting her face ripped off by her chimpanzee,
yeah,
and so, I think for me, it's it was an emotionally complicated scene because you wanted to care for the chimpanzee because you knew that he didn't know any better, right? It
yeah,
was a loud noise that startled him and caused him to completely go berserk.
yeah.
And so when he was having that connection with Jupe and then he meets his fate, it kind of was like, can you blame this animal for being a wild
What
animal? 'Cause that I mean, no matter how much and it also connects with what OJ said, you can't train like, you cannot control what these animals do, And, the same, it also connects back to when he was on set with the horse. He was trying to tell the man, like, hey, back up, back up, because I can't control, like, basically, I can't control what this horse does.
Yeah.
So if this horse kicks you, you're dead.
Mhm.
So what did you think? What did you think Pill was communicating through the Gordy's home moment? And what is that? What did it reveal about Jupe as well?
I mean, it revealed to me someone who was deeply traumatized and never dealt with it, and his way of dealing with it was to fully embrace, like, capitalism, right? To fully embrace, like, being an entertainer, being a businessman. Um, he's a guy that never dealt with that tragedy. Um, and literally, he kinda doesn't really wanna help OJ,
Right.
but, like, buys his horse anyway, kinda like a pity buy. And, like, but,
Yeah.
like, these horses are, like, OJ's they're not just his business, but, like, they're his father's legacy. They're important to him. How are you gonna be a cowboy without your horse? How are you gonna be a horse wrangler for movies without your horse?
Right.
Like, like, yeah, these are dangerous animals, but these are also, like, his life. These are his companions. These are his creatures. And, um, him having to trade them just to keep the doors open on a business that's dying. Like, it's also like a commentary on kind of what's been happening with the film industry in this country in general too, right?
Mhm.
And like like, Jupes managed to create this business thinking like, yo, I can tame this otherworldly creature. And like there's also it's I don't know, I feel like it really connects to both. There's also some interesting visual elements in that sequence on the set of the sitcom, like the shoe.
Yes.
And I've never really fully understood, like, is that supposed to symbolize like a unique moment that's fully like something we'll just never truly understand?
Right.
Is that meant like, is it a greater symbolism for something else? I've still not figured that out yet, but I feel it has something to do with like, there are these unique moments where things are going to be out of our control no matter how much we think we're in control. And I still personally feel like a big part of the movie is that like rampant commercialism is I personally see both the societal and like societal economic message out of it, because our main characters are struggling economically for a lot of things, for a system that they never had a say in designing,
Right.
that is there to exploit them, and like to exploit black people, to exploit people of color in general. But we're seeing like how two different essentially three different people are dealing with it in different ways, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I feel I feel Duke just never dealt with his trauma, in my opinion.
And so what my thought process when I saw the shoe was, because we are experiencing it, this is Jupe's memory
Yeah.
of this incident happening, is that his mind is so fractured that he thinks he saw the shoe
Oh.
standing straight up, when in reality, it probably wasn't, right? So in his mind is so fractured because he's never healed from this trauma, that in his mind, the shoe is standing up, straight up and down.
Oh, that is actually a really okay, because I've been thinking about it all these years, like, oh, we're seeing literally what happened. But like you're saying it's like it's an interpretation, like it's a perspective. But that
Yes,
makes sense, especially because it is very tightly from his perspective.
correct. Like,
Wow.
even when he
Okay.
tells the story of, like, Chris Kattan playing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gordy, you could tell he's trying to, like, lighten it up, but
Yeah.
in his mind is so fractured from this traumatic experience that normally, in a a regular person's mind if they was going through something like this, or in that moment when it happened, the shoe definitely wasn't standing straight up. But his
Oh,
mind
that's
is so fractured that the shoe stands up for him.
in the memory. Yeah, it was just like that. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes man. I got to just rewatch it just to like have that in mind, see how that feels.
And then
Um,
you also mentioned, like, the dynamics of our 3 main characters. So,
yeah,
yeah, our 3 main characters are OJ, Emerald, and Jupe, and the difference in how they all are dealing with danger, trauma, and opportunity.
yeah,
Because just like Jupe, OJ has experienced trauma as well. He was there when his father died.
yeah.
Emerald was not there. So she's handling her her trauma a little bit differently than OJ is handling it. Like she kind of is like, when they first meet up, she's like, "Oh, I got to get back into town cuz I got this little shorty waiting for me." And he's like we got a business to run. Like what are you talking about? OJ was moving with instinct when it came to the monster or when it came to the creature, right? He figured he was the first one to figure it out. If you look at it, you gonna get taken away, right? Emerald, when he told her about it, she didn't say, "Oh, let's leave, let's go, we need to call somebody to see if they could come." The first thing she thought of was the Oprah moment and catching this thing on camera so that they could be famous.
Going to fries.
Right. Going to Fry's and buying all of this equipment that they probably could not afford because
Yeah.
they were trying to keep their own ranch afloat, and she's thinking, "We got to make some money." Whereas OJ is like, "What? Like, are you serious right now?" And then Jupe, like I said before, he's moving in a different type of trauma, and he's thinking the same thing as if he was on set for Gordy's home. I can control this creature. And then he finds out the hard way, just like on Gordy's home, that you couldn't.
I mean, for him, it's the creature was an asset, like 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 a monetary asset, no different than a horse,
Right,
right? And I think that's kind of I don't know. And for me, I see one of the messages being like, you can't just look at everything in terms of like a quantitative like economic unit.
right,
You're separating it from its like actual like true nature, right? Like just assigning a number to something, whether it's this is going to make me this is going to allow like our theme park to make a profit in a day,
right,
and meet all our bills for the whole year in one show, like, versus like you don't know what this thing is.
right. You know, you're chasing the moment. You're chasing attention without understanding the cost.
Yeah,
And that's where I see Jupe coming from. And Emerald was actually the same way as well too, chasing attention without understanding the cost. Whereas OJ was more I we should be respecting this thing and not be antagonizing it. Like we know he knew not to look at it and knew that if he didn't look that it wouldn't come after him. And
yeah,
so it was just that one of the multiple themes throughout the whole movie is, like you said, capitalism. Like, trying to make money off just trying to was it quote unquote trying to live the American dream.
yeah,
And and again, like with Emerald, like she's very like gung ho on just I'm trying to get into the industry. I'm trying, I'm an actress, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer. I do, like dropping her whole business card
I mean,
during
she's trying to be a mogul, she's trying to be like Fitty, right?
right.
Like I mean, I'm always thinking about him because like I'm from New York, and like I feel like he was like always like around where I live for some reason. Like everybody knows, like, oh yeah, they literally just saw him walk by the street. I'm like, that's crazy. I've never seen him in real life. But like kind of like that idea of like, oh, you're a success. You own like this many businesses. You're talented at like 50 different things. Like you're able to list and quantify every single thing to show you're a success. And by those metrics, her brother is a failure.
Right.
But is he though? He is a at his craft. His expertise is the thing that allows them to find a deep insight into this creature, even though he is struggling. And that's not to say Emerald doesn't have her talent either. When we think her brother is gone, she's the one that paid his attention to the things of how to defeat the creature at the theme park.
Yeah.
So like there's something I'm still trying to like make that connection of like why she is part of the success at the end. Like her and her brother are almost like two different halves of the same person.
Mhm.
In a way, like they're so polar opposite to each other, but they're part of each other.
I think she figured it out at the end, because of the fake horse that
Mhm.
they used the first time. So the fake horse that they used the first time, the creature gobbles it up because he thinks or it thinks that it's one of the horses, and you can hear OJ saying he didn't like that too much.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what triggered Emerald to think, I can release this balloon at Jupiter's claim because
Yeah.
it has eyes on it. And the eyes would make it look like it's looking at the
Yeah.
creature, and the creature would be like, "Oh, that's a person," not realizing that it was a balloon. And
Yeah.
because it's an object that the creature can't eat, because as we learn in the movie, the creature can't eat, metal and also spit out a whole rascal. Like,
Yeah.
and it landed on top of their house,
Yeah.
like, it couldn't eat stuff that was not actually organic material. And so she, and not and it and like you said, she has a part in this movie, although half the movie we're just watching her like, "I'm just trying to get to the money. I'm just trying to get to the money," but
Yeah.
then when she realized that she could actually get the picture without an electronic camera, without, with basically without a camera, without a phone. She was able to figure it out. Like, there is a camera at Jupiter's claim. All I got to do is use these coins that fell from the sky from the last time he killed everybody at Jupiter's claim, and then I could get the picture this way.
Yeah.
And so she was smart in her own way. But I'm like you. I'm trying to figure out what the guy from the store, what was his purpose in this whole movie?
I mean, because he kind of gets like sidelined really quickly, especially after the cinematographer gets eaten,
Right.
and like I'm still trying to figure his thing out. I'm still trying to like 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 I feel like I have a very good grasp of OJ's arc because he's kind of like the main like character, and his sister is there to kind of like their values oppose each other very
Right.
strong. And but like his sister, like I'm trying to understand like I feel she does grow, but I'm not exactly sure how to like quantify like qualify that.
Mhm.
Um like she doesn't need a film camera.
Right.
That cinematographer, she doesn't need all the fries equipment. She figures out with stuff that's there. And in a way that's almost like her brother who figures out things just by like with what's already there, with what he already knows, with the things that are part and parcel of his family's legacy, which is rearing animals. Also, I just want to point out I love Keith David. I was just mad upset he got murked so early in the film.
Sad, tragically. I mean, he was great. He
Listen,
great.
Keith David rules. He's so awesome. But also just the way he died, it's like you did not expect like the way he dies in that movie. Like it's like it just happens,
Right.
right? And like that's one of the things about it that feels so real to me. Like when you've had someone in your life that dies suddenly, it's like this invisible thing. Like you kind of can't believe they're gone. And I felt very strongly, when we have like after that scene, everything OJ goes through for the rest of the film, and he's just like, it's just like one day dad was there, the next day he's gone, and then he just has like this like what was like a coin.
Yeah, it was a quarter
Yeah,
that's got stuck in his
yeah,
face.
and but like that's like the thing. That's the thing that took him, and like you can hold it, and it's just a common object, and this like it feels impossible, and like I felt the depth of that impossibility of like I can't believe my dad is gone, right?
Yes.
And that hangs over him like a shadow, like a flying saucer, like a cloud,
Yeah.
like literal. And um like straight through when those kids are clowning around with him, right? Like he's got this crazy thing that's larger than the emotional shadow, but it's connected directly to his dad's death.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. It's I love this movie genuinely. Like, and just talking about it, and like, man, like I'm making new connections while we're just talking about it right now. And I'm like, man, now I got to sit down and rewatch it again.
Yeah,
Um,
for me, OJ was already stoic
yeah,
before his dad died,
yeah,
and after his dad dies, he becomes even more withdrawn.
yeah,
And it's very, you can see it whenever he's supposed to be giving the speech. He's used to being the person in the background. He's
yeah,
used to his dad being up front, and he's just holding the horse, right?
yeah,
He never has to give a speech. He's never had to do that because he's always been the quiet one, you
yeah.
know? And then you have Emerald, who is completely the opposite of
The
him. Like
showman.
right, she's the showman, right?
Yeah,
She comes in this ball of energy, and you can even tell when they are together, right?
yeah,
Like when they figure out that they're actually gonna be able to get the film cinematographer, she's like, she's all hyped, like, let's go, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, like, okay, I'm kind of with it, now I'm with it, but you can always tell like he's been in the background. And Emerald has always been in the front, always been in the spotlight, So I think we watch OJ grieve throughout this whole movie
yeah,
because like you said, he was there when all of this happened and she wasn't. And so, she's the whole time on 10 and he's just like, I'm trying to figure things out.
yeah. In a weird way, they're like two different halves of their dad, right?
Yeah.
Um, and kind of them learning to work together, I think, is like the biggest kind of it's like part of their journey together is learning how to work together and using the best parts of themselves to reach their objectives.
Right.
Um, and like legit, there's a point where I'm just like, yo, OJ's gone. Like it's a wrap. Like he is gone. And then like when you see that final shot of him on the horse, you're like, oh shit, that's right. Like that's him. He is the Wild West. He is the cowboy.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute because
Yeah.
there's a debate about that ending scene of Nope, but I
Oh,
want to
word?
shift. Yes, so we're gonna shift it to
Yeah.
the visual aspects of this movie because this movie is visually stunning.
Yeah.
Like the way that Jordan Peele made the sky feel like it was alive. I mean,
Yeah.
this is without the creature moving. Like he made you feel like you didn't know which cloud this creature was in until they pointed it out. And you're like, yo, that cloud hasn't moved this whole time, but besides just the sky, we're talking about like the shots of the desert, the shot with the TMZ guy, riding down the street with all these inflatables like going
Yeah.
past, like all of that is just visually stunning. So I know you love visuals. That's
Yeah.
that's your thing. So what visuals or sequence stayed with you from this movie?
Oh my god. Man, it's that's tough, man. Like whether it's the opening sequence with his father dying, with the everything having to do with like Jupe's trauma as a kid. Um, I don't know, the use of Fry's electronics exterior with everything they're dealing with, and then like and then just like finding the one dude who like believes in UFOs. Like I don't know, there's so much there's so much incredible stuff done with the visuals connecting directly to the story. A lot of stuff tying to like classic Hollywood imagery, like especially that ending shot. For me, it has massive thematic relevance to basically be like, hey, like, you know, black people are erased from the history of Hollywood over and over, but like, black people are like they were cowboys just as much as white people, right? Um, and I don't know, for me, that's like just a really beautiful thing because I feel, at least for me, I feel all art strongly. I feel all art, whether it intends to or not, is inherently political. Um, and I think it's inescapable because even if you are trying to make something that is distinctly apolitical, you are still kind of showing what you value in society on a certain level.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel, I don't know, it's just there's so much strong visual stuff in this film. It is really hard for me to like say if there's one thing that specifically sticks out over another, but there's so much in it that's just so beautifully crafted. And it just feels so intentional. And it's like okay, like Get Out, right? Like Get Out for me is the one that gets talked about the most,
Mhm.
but it feels the most indie.
Right.
Like I can see the rails,
Yes.
right? Us, goddamn, like I feel like I am still dissecting that film years later. Like there's so
Wow.
much, and then this one, and then I feel this one kind of ups it in a very, very different way. And it's been what almost 4 years since it got released,
Yeah.
and like I'm just like I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like I didn't know what to expect in terms of the creature. The creature's visuals still stick with me because I'm still puzzled.
Yes.
Like it could have been like have sharp teeth. It could have had eyes. It could have like it is a very interesting and memorable thing.
Yeah.
And every frame is literally like there's a phrase that's also the phrase of a YouTube essayist I really enjoy that used to be on Vimeo called "Every Frame a Painting." But like it feels like every frame in this film is a painting.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. There's so much to see in this film. It's incredible. Like if there is like a literal art book just for this film, the way there is for the Dune movies, I would just pick it up straight up just because it's just it's a movie rife with symbolism. it's it's
Right.
it's 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 a very atypical horror film. Like it is not just like the horror like there's a lot of horror fans, and I'm not saying this is a criticism in any way. I'm just saying like just as a factual thing, like horror fans love horror. Like there are people that will literally the thing they're going to sit down to watch to relax at the end of the day is they will turn on whatever is on Tubi that's horror, whatever is on Shudder that's horror, and it
Yep.
could be like for the average person, it's like, oh, that's schlock. I'm never going to see that. But that person that day is like, nah, I want to see what this slasher is about,
Yeah.
right? Even
It
if they've seen that same slasher like in some form, and like it's like the Hallmark equivalent of a slasher. Like there's like 12 versions of that released like within a business quarter. Um, but like Nope is very much not that. It is taking something and turning into this thing that just sticks in the back of your mind, whether it's in the metaphor, whether it's in the relationships of the characters, whether it's in its commentary. Um, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about like I remember when we were talking about what we were going to talk about. And the first thing that came in my head was Nope. It was just like, man, I guess I got to rewatch it now because I still think about it.
right. I think a lot of people didn't like Nope, and, you know, when I like I said, when the first time I saw it, I was kinda confused on what I was seeing, but I also had to realize that I was trying to see it through the Get Out eyes, you
Yeah.
know, where, you know, I'm, you know, or Get Out and Us eyes, because I was like, I really enjoy Get Out. I really enjoyed Us. So I was trying to look at it through those eyes when it
Yeah.
came to this movie. Again, after watching it multiple times now, this movie is nothing like Get Out or Us. It's not, like you said, it's not your typical horror movie. It's more to it than just this creature.
Yeah.
You know, you have to understand, like, especially from like Jupe's perspective, OJ's perspective, and Emerald's perspective, and also the cinematographer's perspective on what would you do to be famous.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. Like OJ doesn't want to be famous. He's just trying to keep everything afloat. But the other three, the cinematographer wants to have that legacy. And if
Yeah.
it cost him his life, so be it. You know, Jupe just wanted to be accepted because of the traumatic experience that he had been through as a child actor. He just wanted to be famous again. And and actually him being a child actor is kind of the story of most child actors now, because they don't always make it,
Yeah.
you know. And so now he's been, you know, reduced to owning this, you know, Jupiter's Claim, this, you know, roadside carnival basically. And he's just like, I'm just trying to get back to the good old, you know, I'm just trying to get back to the days when my name meant something. And
Yeah.
then Emerald is starting from the bottom, and she's just trying to be famous, right? So, this movie has a lot. It has a lot of layers. It has a lot of context to it, and I feel like if people get watched it through a different lens, they would actually understand it more on the next, you know, on better than they did the first watch.
Yeah.
Um and again, visually, this movie is stunning. I love Jean Jacket's final form, when and especially because the way Jordan Peele did it, when he pulled back and all we see is Jean Jacket in its final form, and you see little OJ on the horse, you know, in front of it. And the scene with Emerald screaming at him and telling him to come on, like, we can leave. And and like you said, OJ is just like, "I'm a cowboy. This is what I do. You know, this is how I'm gonna wrangle this. I'm gonna wrangle this creature, you know, and I know how to do it." It's watching those scenes that make this
Yeah.
movie feel so deep and real, because you could tell Emerald really loves her brother and she doesn't want to lose him. But
Yeah.
he knows what he has to do in order to get her to do what she needs to do. So, now I did bring this up. There is a debate about whether OJ, the final scene when we see OJ and all his Hollywood glory sitting on the horse, there is a debate on whether he's alive or not. And if he is not just a figment of Emerald's mind.
Oh, I think he's alive.
That's
I
what
think
that's what the debate is right now.
I mean, if we're going with the idea of like we have that deep perspective of like Jupe's remembrances, right?
Mhm.
Then there's this then we can have this idea of, well, we have this like deep personal perspective what Emerald is seeing in that moment. She doesn't want to believe her brother's dead, right?
Right.
I can see that being a repeated motif, but I'd almost want to find a third example of that to cement it. Not for any reason apart from the fact that three is like just feels like the right number. Um, I don't know. In my heart, I want OJ to be alive because even if he did, even if he wasn't the one that killed it, him living up to his purpose, to the thing he truly knows, to what his family is about, feels truer to the theme of the film, trying to acknowledge um, Black people's place in making Hollywood what it is.
So the way people are framing it,
Yeah.
this is the debate. The debate goes the way he appears in the dust
Yeah.
and he's under the out yonder sign.
Okay.
And it's almost as if he's part of something larger or even existing in a symbolic place.
Mm,
Whereas other people see it as a clear moment of survival. Emerald is finally seeing her brother in a steady, calm, and present. So
mm,
that's what the debate is. I before because and shout out to the kid for bringing up this debate for me because she brought it up. And so after I watched the movie, I was like, I don't know. Like I'm like you, Rishi. I want him to be alive. I want him to survive. Like I want him to be, you know, here. But in the same sense, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about grief because it's almost like Emerald knows that he's not gonna make it. And then there was a part of the movie, um, right before she, makes it to Jupiter's Claim, she hears the horse that OJ is on screech.
yeah.
And so I was like, "Not OJ, Lord." So it could be the horse was screeching because it was about to be caught, and then OJ and the horse got away, but that's, like, the more I kept watching this movie, the
Yeah.
more I kept trying to connect that ending with, why is the horse making that noise? And then OJ shows up at the end.
Mm. I gotta rewatch it again. Um, damn, I love this movie.
I was gonna say, it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap up, last part. So people have compared this movie to Jaws,
Yeah.
Close Encounters, even the classic Western movies. Where do you see Nope fitting with those influences within Peele's body of work?
Um, I think of the three the 3 films that he's built as a horror director, I think so far it's his deepest film. Um, Although I don't know that it's necessarily deeper than Us. I think both it and Us are extremely deep films. I just think on different things.
Right.
Because Us, I'm still feeling like I'm dissecting it, and I think Get Out was definitely more of a. I think Get Out was definitely more of a. Like I said, it felt like his most indie film
Mhm.
because it's a very simple. Um, it's a very simple film. It feels very indie. It's basically mostly one location, and whenever his homie shows up in his apartment, it looks like they just tried to grab like some spot
Yeah.
like on as low a budget as possible. Like it never feels like a real place, where his
Right.
office is at. Um, so like I don't know, each one just feels like a build on top of the other. It gets more complex, gets more interestingly written. Um, I think if he's going to be taking a couple of years between each film, we're going to see whatever he's doing next, man. I think it's going to be really awesome. I think he's going to take his time to do it, and I think he's going to build on it. I mean, one of the directors he kind of brought on for Candyman, Nia DaCosta, I think she's gonna kind of do the same thing as him. And I know she's directing the new 28 years later, the Bone
Yes.
Temple or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
kind of excited for that because I love what she did with Candyman. It was kind of Peele-esque, but very, I think, different enough from what he's doing
Mhm.
that I'm almost wondering, is like the Bone Temple going to kind of be like different than all the other 28 movies? Um,
We'll see.
Or is it just going to be like another, like, is she going to be kind of more of like a, she does franchise like sequels, like that's her thing, whereas like Peele is getting to do all of this original stuff that's like him, right?
Hmm.
Or is she going to be like a horror version of what's his name that did Sinners?
Oh, Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Yeah, I don't know. I can't help but like make these connections between these different filmmakers because like I feel their works are in conversation with each other,
Hmm.
especially because some of them do work together. Like Peele produced Candyman, right?
Right.
DaCosta directed it. So I feel like these artists are in conversation with each other, even if they're in different roles on each other's projects.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Jordan Peele directs next. I think Nope is his film I think about the most by far.
It's definitely one of those movies that deserves to be talked about, deserves
Yeah.
conversations, and definitely a rewatch. Like again, like I said, if you're very much like me and you saw it the first time and you didn't understand the symbolism in the movie, I hope after watching this episode, you'll go back and rewatch it with fresh eyes and so that you be able to interpret things a little bit differently
Yeah.
when it comes to this film. So, before we end this, Rishi, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you and what do you have coming up? Because I know, but they don't know.
Yeah, so you can find me on Blue Sky at rishjg, um, at .bluesky, or however it goes, it'll be in the description. You can
Yes.
also find me on Instagram at senior_rish. And what I'm up to right now, I just shot my short film in September, The Beast We Carry, which got crowdfunded in July. So we got pretty quick up and running to actually shoot it over the course of a weekend. We raised 31K just to do the shooting. Now we're in post production. The edit is moving forward, but we need help. We're trying to raise 15K more. We've raised just shy of 5K out of the 15K we need. And we are doing it all through fiscal sponsorship with a nonprofit. So any donations you give to the nonprofit for this project are tax deductible. So, you know, if you want to put a little more money in your pocket come tax season, you can give to this project. And in the description below, there'll be a handy little link to a PDF that has all the information. It'll show stills from the production of the film and stills of the film where we're at right now, along with a lot of hyperlinked videos. And there will also be a video of basically what's shown in the PDF, like how to donate and what we've done so far and what we need the money for in video form as well. And I don't know if we have time for me to just say what The Beast We Carry is about.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Plug your stuff.
So yeah,
Like
so the Beast We Carry. If you saw me on the previous episode of Cinematic Nightmares that was on, it followed a young boy, but we had a change during production where we
yeah.
recast the role around a girl, and because she was a phenomenal actress, Anuka Sethi, and so then I rewrote the role around her. So the Beast We Carry follows a young girl in a pre 9/11 New York who has the supernatural ability to see the inner selves of other people manifested as creatures only she can see and interact with. It sort of makes her like a very empathetic person because you know she understands what people are feeling in the moment by just looking at their inner selves, and she has her own inner self that she can see and interact with, who manifests as this gentle mime that's sort of like a friend and a protector. And 9/11 happens, and the inner selves turn monstrous and beastly because of the fears um, and hatreds of post 9/11 New York, um, as her friends, neighbors, uh, and you know teachers, as they they get filled with the paranoia of post 9/11 New York, especially around brown and Muslim people. And the girl and her mime find themselves trapped in her high school with their inner beasts out for their blood. Um, and yeah, if you're curious to check it out, look in the description and find me online.
I mean, there I mean, how to I have nothing else to say, like, what? I mean, yes, make sure y'all check him out. Make sure you go and follow him on social media. I am a super when I tell you I'm, like, super excited about this movie, he has been keeping me up to date. Well, when he rapped, because he was very busy for a while, but keeping me up to date on this movie. And when he told me that he switched the role to a little girl, I was like, really? Like, and so now I cannot wait to see this movie. I mean, I think it's gonna be great.
I mean, I am telling you, like when the actors like started filling out the roles, like the guy who played the mime, Noor Hamdi, like my producer who came on, he was like, "Listen, I got the guy for this." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But we're still gonna audition people. We auditioned a bunch of people. I met Noor and I was immediately like, "Damn." We got off the phone. We got off the call with him. I went to my producer. I was like, "Yo, this is the guy." He's like, "See, you gotta listen to me. I know. I'm telling you, that's the guy." And
Right.
then Anuka applied for the mime, but then I was like, "Man, I don't know. There's something about her reel." I'm like, she feels like a lead. I tell
Yeah.
my producer, he's like, "You want to just run her for the main character?" I'm like, "Let's try it." We audition her for it. She freaking kills it. I was like, "I got to rewrite this around her."
Love it. I
Like,
love it.
yeah. So I can't wait for everybody to see this film when we're done. We're still working on it. We're still trying to get the second phase fully funded. Um, so please, hit me up online if you want to talk about it. Check it out. Uh, we've built a little bit of a community around this. Cinematic Nightmares has been a huge help. Um, and we have a ton of art. You can always check out our Kickstarter that's happened over the summer for a ton. There's a ton of videos about what the project's about and where it's coming from. So there's no shortage of stuff if you want to learn about the project.
Well, thank you again for coming on. When you reached out and said you wanted to do this movie, I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "You know what? Let's just do it." Because I haven't talked to my friend in a while. So, this is actually really fun for me. And hearing your perspective of this movie definitely opened my eyes to respecting this movie a lot more than a lot more now. So but to everyone else that is watching, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you don't ever miss another nightmare. And as I always say, until next time, bulls and ghouls.
You'll be getting a call from my supervisor asking how my service was.
5 stars, Angel, 5 stars.